Hi, I'm Dave Johnson, Director of Instruction at Rooster Run Golf Club in Petaluma, California. And the topic I've chosen to speak about is better ball striking. One of the keys that I use to measure better ball striking is something that I call the immaculate position. The immaculate position is merely a frame of the golf swing that's 4 to 6 inches past contact with a golf ball. It is the absolute low point of the golf swing. And it's a spot where the biomechanical and the geometric components of the golf swing are at their most stable. This is the place you can really crunch the golf ball. When you get here, you know you've made your will felt on the ball. You know that what you envisioned has happened to the golf ball and is soaring out there the distance you want, the trajectory you want, and it makes the ball's curving the way that you predict. That's what you want to do because that gives you control over the game. And what more do we want? We want control. I want control. And I know you probably want some control as well. So how do we do that? The immaculate position. That frame that's right there, 4 to 6 inches past the golf ball. So when you strike a golf ball, you know your club's only in contact with the ball for 1/2 of a thousandth of a second. That's 1/5,000th of a second. And when the ball and the club are together, they're only together for 3/8 of an inch. So you haven't got much time to figure it out. So if you're making a mistake, if you're not right at the right moment, you're sort of doomed. So the immaculate position, if we study that and work hard to get there, the likelihood of being successful at the moment of contact is much greater. So the immaculate position is where we're going. Now, how do we get control of the immaculate position? It's not something that's just whimsy. It's actually sort of a tale of 3 axes. The 3 axes that I like to control and talk about are the balance axis, the anatomical axis, and the performance axis. These 3 axes all interrelate to each other, all work naturally in the human body, and all give us tremendous power and consistency. The balance axis is probably one that we all struggle with most in the golf swing. How many times you're accused of lifting up? How many times you're accused of not shifting your weight? How many times you're accused of not swinging too fast? That's usually, believe it or not, a balance flaw. So when you stand in the golf ball, make sure you stand in balance. And how do you do that? The way we stand in balance is pretty straightforward. There's an axis that runs through the center of the skull, right through the middle of the body, right to the ground. As it goes through your center of balance, when you stand there, you're on balance. Your body's comfortable, your skeletal system's carrying your weight beautifully. This is balance. So, how do we mess it up? The answer is we put a golf club in our hand and we bend forward and we throw our body all off balance, out of kilter. So when you take your stance, make sure that you counterbalance. Every bit of body mass that goes in front of the balance axis, use that keister and get a little bit of weight behind it. When you get to that position and you're counterbalanced nicely, now you've got a chance to start moving your body again the way that you know how to. Balance is everything. If you don't start in balance, you don't have the ability to move dynamically through the golf swing. So take advantage of balance. Balance is your friend. It's a natural reflex response. Don't fight it, get with it. Now, the anatomical axis is what most people talk about in the golf swing. The anatomical axis is merely that bilateral line, the spine, the shoulders, how we sit up, the framework of the body, the skeletal system. It's a beautiful thing, but we tend to overrate it. If you turn around your shoulders in the golf swing and you think the spine is the center of your golf swing and you focus on the nape of your neck, when you turn back this way it looks pretty good, but when you come through, if you keep that centered, it's very difficult to get to a good position to contact the golf ball. Remember, the immaculate position is a spot that's 4 to 6 inches past the golf ball. It's the place we crush the golf ball. It's where we put our will on the golf ball. And we're right here when we get there. So if I'm busy turning around my anatomical axis, I'm in a heap of trouble because I'm not going to be able to get to that anatomical position. So what do? I recognize the anatomical axis is not the one. It's useful. It holds my body in place. It's a great structure. Uses the muscles. Lots of great levers. But the axis that really counts, it's the performance axis. Now the performance axis is something most of us never think about. But we know it's there. We've done it thousands of times. If you've ever thrown a ball, when you throw a ball, you rotate on the lead side of your body. Your lead foot, hip, shoulder, all rotate and you toss around it. What if you're in the garden shoveling? You got a shovel full of gravel and you pick up the shovel and you give it a toss. You come off that axis. Heel, hip, shoulder, you turn on it. If I'm kicking a soccer ball as hard as I can kick it, I step and plant and I rotate on that axis. Heel, hip, shoulder. Boom, I can give that ball a ride. Golf swings are no different. There is a performance axis, and the performance axis is the lead side, heel, hip, shoulder. Now the real virtue of this is when you have the performance axis under control, that tells us how to control the low point of the golf swing. Because once I get back here in my backswing and I've moved the balance axis onto the lead leg, I merge the two, the balance axis and the performance axis become one. Now I'm in position to strike a golf ball, but the advantage is I set up this left shoulder, the lead shoulder. And when I get the lead shoulder in position on the top of the performance axis, now when my lead arm is under the shoulder and my golf shaft is lined up with that, I'm in a position that is a straight line, and that's the absolute low point of my golf swing. This is usually about 4 to 6 inches past contact. Ball is crushed, it's compressed, the ball jumps. But right here, bang, at the low point, I've sent the ball in its merry way. I feel like the club is still traveling downward as the ball is going upward. That's compression, that's what you're looking for. Now the other part of that, once you get in this performance axis and this nice straight line is occurring, you'll notice that when you watch good ball strikers, many of them have their trailing arms about a 45-degree angle to this lead lever. This 45 degree is a tremendous support. How many poles have you seen sticking out of the ground? Telephone poles with 45-degree angles to it. How many suspension in cars have their arms written at 45 degrees to the axle? That's how it works. That's how we're stable. That's how we're supposed to perform. Golf swing is no different. If I want to get to my immaculate position, if I want to put pressure on the golf ball, if I want to be the man that controls what goes on, I need to get to those angles. When you strike a golf ball and use your geometry, you're going to see these angles repeat all the time. What are the big angles in life? Straight line at 180, 90 degrees, and a 45. Columns, like the performance axis of the column, straight line, supports lots of weight, easy to turn, doesn't get in trouble. 90 degrees, wire tires at 90 degrees to axles of cars, wire shoulders 90 degrees to the performance axis. Because it's efficient, it's strong, it's stable. We don't want to fight this, we want to take advantage of it. The performance axis is the whole deal. Once you get control of this axis, now you've got the ability to start hitting the golf ball. So we're making our golf swings, we start in this beautiful balanced posture. We get the club loaded up on the way back, and then we come forward, we merge the two axes, the balance axis and the performance axis. And then the lead arm lines up under the top of the performance axis. We get a straight line, the trailing arm is supporting it, and bang, golf ball goes. Compression happens. We're in control of what goes on. So in order for us to get control of the immaculate position, we have to be where the balance axis are. Learn to trust your balance axis. Take advantage of the anatomical axis. Have savvy. Appreciate what it's like to be in the immaculate position. And when you can do these things, you're going to become a much better ball striker. I'm Dave Johnson, Director of Instruction at Rooster Run Golf Club. I putt to a golf hole that's 35% larger than the one that you putt to. The reason for that is because of how I look at the hole. I know some facts. Fact number 1. The normal golf hole is 4 1/4 inches across. This diameter is what most of us see. Fact number 2. The golf ball is 1.68 inches in diameter. And if a little bit more than half the ball rests on the edge of the hole, it's going to drop into the cup. So, if I use 0.75 as my point of reference, that's 3/4 of an inch. If 3/4 of an inch is outside the hole, more than half the ball is over the hole and it's going to drop in. Add 3/4 of an inch to this side of the hole, add 3/4 of an inch to this side of the hole. My golf hole is 1.5 inches wider than most people see. That means this golf hole, when I play, or what I putt to, is a target of 5.75 inches. So when I'm putting, I take advantage of that by taking my ball speed way down when the greens are especially smooth. I take my ball speed way down when my putting stroke is hot and I can control the speed. And I take my ball speed way down when I'm reading the breaks really well. Use that information and you'll putt better too. So I hope you enjoyed this web tip. I'm Dave Johnson from Rooster Run Golf Club, and that'll be $6.50. I'll collect later.